Wondering how the Canon R6 handles a wedding day? Let's find out. Okay, so I'm about 3.5 hours in shooting with the R6, and this thing does not miss a shot. So I have taken probably about 600 images and I have not missed one. It's nailing the focus every single time. It is insane. Battery life, that was one of my number one concerns, is so far holding up really good. I've only dropped 1 bar in 3.5 hours, so that's great. All right, Canon R6 check. It is, been shooting with it for about 4 hours and 40 minutes. And I have 2 R6s, so granted, I'm turning the cameras on and off as I'm shooting. Let me get out of the sun here. One camera, I switched batteries for one of them because we were coming up to the ceremony and it was like 2 bars left, and I didn't want to just run into something there. And then the other one, I am still shooting, still have 2 bars on it. It's been going for a while. It's this thing does not miss. I am noticed though when I use the adapter ring with my EF lenses that and I'll talk about this more later, but I tend to get the lens error, the 00 error on the camera. So I don't know if there's just a bad connection with the EF lenses and the adapter ring, but the RF stuff just knocks it out of the park. And seriously, I have never shot a wedding where over 90% of the images I'm shooting are hitting spot on, super sharp. So I cannot wait to show you guys some of the stuff that we're creating here. All right. I just got home from shooting a wedding today, a full wedding, 8.5 hours, and I used the R6, 2 of them. I had 2 R6 bodies with me the entire day, and I am excited to share with you my initial impression, and I was blown away. This camera just brought out a new level of inspiration for me, and just really made me super excited about creating. So I feel like Canon knocked it out of the park with this thing. So granted, I'm only 1 wedding in, but I've never approached a wedding with 2 new camera bodies that I've never used, because I just got these things last night and got it ready, played with my settings for about an hour and just kind of made my adjustments that I wanted. And then I took them to the wedding, and from the get-go, my jaw just dropped. Now, the biggest challenge though that I noticed was kind of the muscle memory that the muscle memory that I developed using the Canon R, the EOS R, and then kind of that on top of the 5D Mark IV. Like I was just kind of it was a struggle, just kind of unlearning some of the things that I was doing with that, and adapting it. So it wasn't a bad thing. It was just a challenge that I had to kind of relearn some muscle memory of just kind of where things were. There's a lot of things that felt very familiar compared to the 5D4, and then there were some new things that some custom buttons that I added on the EOS R that I just loved. That I made some adjustments on this one and just kind of moved some buttons around, and so I was just getting used to all of those new things today. It was a treat having the scroll wheel and on the back. Oh God, that's such a good feature. So first thing I want to talk about is the battery life. How did this thing perform? Like, did it drain the battery really fast? No. One of my camera bodies, I switched out the battery early, and that was about 3.5 hours in the shooting. It was right before the ceremony started, and the battery was about half full, and then I left my other camera battery in there, and this was with the new Canon batteries, and the one that was half full when I was shooting the ceremony, it lasted another hour and a half, and so I feel like I changed batteries less often with the Canon R6 than I did with the EOS R and the 5D Mark IV, because I would do a lot of live view with the 5D Mark IV, just because I felt like the focus would hit more than through the viewfinder. So very surprised and very happy with how the battery performed. the autofocus. Holy crap. Like, I was absolutely blown away at how well this camera just finds the eye of your subject. I mean, it just would find it, and it would nail it. So I'm excited to just do a quick walkthrough of some, just a few sequences from the day, and we'll just kind of look at them just straight out of camera, not edited or culled, and we'll just kind of see. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about of how I just hit images, hit the focus every time. So that's just kind of how, and when you have that, it builds confidence. And I noticed I shot less too because I knew I had nailed the image right away. The RF glass performed. I mean, it was snappy. It just nailed everything, and like just the quality, and just so majority of the day, this was my setup. So I had on 1R, I had the 50, the RF 50-1.2, and on the other one, I had the 28 to 70 f2. So that's another RF lens, and that was my combo for probably about 90% of the day. And then as the day went on, I would switch things up a little bit when needed to. But I found, like, for the setting of today's wedding, that was a perfect combination that I needed. Occasionally, I used my Canon 85 1.4 lens, and I used that with the RF adapter. And I had a few issues with that through the days. I don't know if it was just my adapter or whatnot, but the connection on connecting to the camera, like I would get that lens error. Never got a lens error with the RF glass. It just happened once through the day. But but when it didn't happen, everything worked flawlessly. So not sure 100% what happened there. So I'm curious to play around with that at my next wedding. I want to take you guys to my computer and just show you just a few series of images from today's wedding, and just show you exactly why I'm so pumped about this camera. All right, so here is a quick walkthrough of just a few series of images from today's wedding. I just took a small sample so you can kind of see how this camera performs in just different situations, and you can see some of the reasons why I'm really excited about it. At first, one of my hesitancies was, is 20 megapixels enough? Am I going to be able to crop? Am I going to lose stuff? But I mean, you can just see right here how quickly, like, just how beautiful and how quick, like, it just focuses on the eye of the subject consistently. Here's another example. Look at that. And that just does that on its own. I didn't have to tell it to do anything. That was a cute smile. All right. And then again, just going to keep going through some of this stuff. Let's see how it did in the mirror there. Yeah, so shooting right at a mirror, usually that tends to be a little soft. That's super sharp right there. That looks really great. Yeah, and then here's a moment where the father of the bride just broke down with his daughter. So there's a lot of movement here, and every single shot, it just followed him, and it stayed super sharp on him. This was with I think this is when I threw the 85 on, and with the EF glass. So you could see just how lovely that looks. So RF, EF, it works really great. Just doing a quick zoom check. Yeah, that looks great. So that one, oh yeah, here we go. Some up close and personal, playing in the veil, just seeing let's go back and check that out. Yeah, it just stays locked on the eyes, and that's one of the most impressive features about this camera. And again, those look great. So we're gonna check the aisle, her walking down the aisle. So the sun was a little tricky at this point. It was kind of spotty, and clouds were rolling through, and so the cloud, it made it a little difficult finding the correct exposure the whole time. But as she's walking, again, I have it zoomed in here so we can pan out, but you can see it just tracks just very lovely. Everyone's in focus still. Is that one? No, that's probably user error on me. So, but yeah, I feel like this lens does an amazing job. So these guys had a really quick kiss. I wasn't really ready for it, and all of a sudden they were kissing, and so I quickly turned. I had my 50 on, and it just found them and nailed it. So that's great. And then they walked out. Did one more kiss because I wasn't ready. This one I was ready for. So yeah, here we go. We'll just keep going through. You can just kind of see some of the couple portraits that we did. We were at a vineyard today, and so we played in the vines. And again, just with motion and movement and everything, it locks on them. So one of the things that I've always struggled with the Mark IV was just nailing the focus, especially when the sun is backlighting them. He was just peeking over that hill just really, really brilliantly. And just even with the sun right there, I mean, zoomed in, I mean, you can just see, like, this is croppable. I can do a lot with this image right now. And this is just straight out of camera. There's been no touching, no editing to these images. These guys loved to dance, and so they were constantly twirling, which was fun. Yeah, I'm just going to keep going through these, and let's see how that... It's a little soft, but that's... Yeah, and some of the stuff, I just... It's me learning the camera and just learning the different... I was playing with the different settings too, and sometimes I got a little ahead of myself. But yeah, again, this is that autofocus of just how it just finds the right spot to make that image. I don't know how Canon did that, but I'm super impressed with just the quality of imagery that comes out of that. And I don't even know how the autofocus found her right there. That's so cool. Yeah, playing with some more. I missed it on that one. That's okay, because I think we nailed it on that one. So that's awesome. I'll keep going through these really quick. Kind of gives you an idea. And wanted to do some silhouettes after the sun went down. And so we did a few. As soon as I got the shot, I think, what shot was it? Not that one, not that one. I think it was this one. Yeah, I think that was the shot that I was like, I got it, I'm good, we can move on. So then we did a sparkler send-off in the evening. But it actually did pretty well. I was shooting with the 24. That's not as sharp as I would like it, but that was user error because I was shooting at 1/60th of a second. So in closing, R6 knocks it out of the park. This camera, you cannot go wrong with it. And the money that you save from buying the R6 over the R5, and granted, I'm not speaking to hybrid shooters. I'm speaking strictly to just photographers. The money that you save by just doing the R6 over the R5, like, I really believe, like, man, invest that money in the quality glass, because this RF glass is absolutely stunning. And so this paired with this RF glass with the Canon R6 is it's an award-winning combination in my opinion. So I highly recommend it. If you love what you see, subscribe, and I can't wait to bring more stuff your way. Cheers.